My father, born dirt poor, died pretty well off. He used to tell me that just because you can buy something doesn't mean you can afford it. You could buy those rims, but you could not afford them. He also said, if you can see all of your money, you're not doing it right. Your money is not to be witnessed by the world. Your money is to be taken to the bank. Your money should make more money for you, not sell an image to the rest of the world.
Have you thought about how not to be broke in 2025? This new year just began. Some people have no financial goals, they have no plan, and because of that, they are gonna be broke for this year. But you don't have to be. All you have to do is watch this video, and before you know it, you have put yourself on a path towards financial success for the year 2025. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I Am Patience, and on this channel we discuss society's impacts on our lives, our finances, and how we can take back that power to make more intentional decisions and put ourselves on a path towards financial success and financial freedom. So if that sounds good to you, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Also be sure to share this video with somebody who you know could use this video and not be broke in 2025. As the year is just beginning, I am sure a lot of us made New Year goals, New Year's resolutions, and that is including finances. We all want to improve our finances, but because of bad habits that people have and you're not really addressing the root cause, they unfortunately will probably be stuck in a cycle of debt and living paycheck to paycheck. But you don't have to. We can all do better. Breaking free of financial struggles requires us to identify and admit to it that this is true cause of our financial struggles and eliminate them by having practices that we can do better, and therefore we can build a life of financial success. And by eliminating habits or practices that sabotage our finances, we are more likely to adapt new and positive practices to replace them that will help us to stay strong in this journey. So in this video, we're going to discuss 10 habits that keep people broke and will probably keep people broke in 2025. I'm also going to provide solutions that can help you to avoid these and live a life of good financial practices that will help you to take your finances to the next step. The first thing that's going to keep people broke: impulse purchasing. Impulse purchasing is when you've not planned to buy this thing, but you go out or you're browsing online or an influencer says it. So because they said it, you immediately click their link and you purchase the item, even though you don't know which category it goes in. It's not coming from like a splurge budget. It's probably way over something that you would even purchase, like a designer item that's costing hundreds of thousands of dollars of money that you don't even have yet. And all of a sudden you find yourself in debt or spending money that you otherwise would have spent for something else, such as saving. People get trapped. And when this happens enough time, it can literally break your foundation of financial success. Like, you can be in a good financial place and still fall into impulse purchasing, and before you know it, you're in tens of thousands of dollars of debt. The solution to this is stopping yourself from purchasing things immediately. Always have a list of things that you need and things that you want to purchase. Give it a timeline, and if this is something new that comes along the way, you're like, oh my goodness, I could really use this, do not purchase it immediately. Give yourself time. Find a place within your budget to put it. Ask yourself, how will this improve my life? How often will I use this? How will this allow me to better the things that I already do in my life? And most importantly, do I really need this? And if you do, you still don't have to purchase it immediately. You can put it on your bucket list to purchase in the future. I, for one, know that a good hair dryer is something that I would really love to have. Like, when I saw that Rev air dryer years ago, and I was like, I would definitely buy this. And that hair dryer is over $400. And because of that, I had to ask myself, how often do I even blow dry my hair? I already have a blow dryer that I paid $20 for. And I realized I would really love this blow dryer, but I only blow dry my hair once a year. Does this even fit in with my goals of reducing the amount of heat I use on my hair? No, it wouldn't. And because of that, I've not even purchased it to this day. And even the storage, I'm like, where am I gonna store it? That thing is huge. Only for me to use it once a year, maybe twice. Is it even worth it? I don't think so. And because of that, I do not have the Rev Air. Does that mean I will never purchase in the future? No. In the future, I have just an excess amount of money that I can splurge on whatever, or I happen to be blow drying my hair more often, I will certainly buy it. But until then, I realize I don't need it now. Maybe that once a year when I'm spending so much time blow drying my hair, I'm like, oh, I just wish I had the Rev Air. But beyond that, no. I'm good. That's $400 that went into my savings that's building my actual financial future. The second thing that keeps people broke is living without a budget. How can you even live without a budget? I know the US economy is not really good at following a budget, but at least they have something of a budget. Every company that is successful has a budget. Small businesses that don't have a budget often fail. Having a budget in your life, treat yourself as a small business. That's how I treat myself. I'm a small business. I make money, I spend the money, I allocate money towards savings, towards improving. I'm essentially a small business. How am I gonna live without a budget? A budget does not have to be so constrictive. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy life or go on vacation. Just put it in the budget. And so the solution is to just create a budget. If you don't have plans for your money has plans for you. And another saying that I love is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And if you don't have a budget, you don't know how much money you have coming in, you don't know how much money you have going out, you're going to end up broke. There's no way you can be managing your finances from your brain. If you want a path towards success financially, you want a budget, and a good budget at that. I have a whole video that talks about how to budget, the categories you need in a budget. I have so many videos on my channel that discusses this, so please go ahead and watch it. Watch my playlist for personal finance, and you will find so many gems in there. You can use the 50-30-20 rule. I personally don't follow that as much because 30% on once is way too much, and I have a given category. Use what works for you, and if it's really hard for you to put pen to paper or to use an Excel, use a mobile app, Rocket Money, or Every Dollar. I think Mint went out of business, but there's so many out there that can help you to budget. So find out what works best for you, make a budget and stick to it. And sticking to a budget that you make is probably going to be the most difficult part, but you can do this by tracking your expenses so that you're being real with yourself. If you are overspending in certain categories, unless it's something that comes up, something that you can't help, you can adjust it and still making sure that you're hitting your financial goals. I know for one in 2024, I overspent in certain categories, for example, travel, because I had an international trip that I went on with my family, and I wasn't going to be left out after not going to Ghana for over a decade. And I honestly underestimated how much it was going to cost. And I had so many other trips before that and after that, that had I known, and now I do know. So in the future, when I do go back to Ghana, I know how to better budget, how to better manage my money. So my vacation budget was well over what I wanted to spend, but I know better now for the future. So you don't have to hold yourself in contempt. Just guilt yourself over it. If you didn't know, you just didn't know. Now you know better and do better. The third thing that's going to keep people broke in this new year is certainly payday loans are becoming so popular that it's scary, especially the ones that you can easily get on your phone, such as Empower, Albert, Dave, and all the other ones with the names of human beings that makes it feel like it's just your friend lending you money, even though they have 200, 400, and 600% interest rate. If you don't know what a payday loan is, if you don't know if you have a payday loan, watch my video where I call out payday lenders. I talk about the history, the cycle of debt, and how to break free from that cycle of debt. But payday lenders are predatory, so much so that they are banned in certain states. Do not fall for these payday loans. They're going to get not just the money they lend you, but sometimes double, triple in a short period of time. So the solution is to build an emergency fund. If you have an emergency fund and something comes along, because these payday lenders are typically lending people 80, 100, 400, 250. I think the most payday loans I've seen is maybe $1,000. It's not like they're lending people a lot of money. This is money that if you had an emergency fund, a basic 3-month emergency fund, even, you would always have that money. Or even a 1-month emergency fund, you would not need somebody to lend you $100. But it's good to build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund, or at least have $10,000 if your 3-month or 6-month emergency fund is less than $10,000. Try to get to $10,000, because that is way more money than a payday lender would not even give to their customer base. You will have more than enough money to cover these little emergencies or things that come along the way. And if something happens and you do need money, you do want to borrow money, instead of going to a payday lender, it's even better to use a credit card at that point. At least with a credit card where the max is maybe 39.99%, that's way better than 300, 400, 600% on a payday loan. Also, you can do personal loans and go to your local credit union or your bank and get a personal loan that could be anywhere from 8 to 20%. Way better than a credit card and definitely way better than a payday loan. Number 4 for what's keeping people broke is definitely eating out. People want to act like going to a grocery store, purchasing your food, coming home and cooking it is just as expensive as eating out. And let me tell you, that level of delusion is one that I hope I never reach, because why are you telling me that grocery stores cost as much as going out to eat out? Are we serious, or are we just in like a parallel universe? What parallel universe do you live in where it's the same amount of money? Not to mention that when you go grocery shopping, you're buying things for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack, and dessert, versus when you purchase, you're literally purchasing by what you want to eat at the moment. Most people, when they DoorDash or Uber Eats, that bill is probably no less than $30, and that's for one meal. Maybe you can stretch it to 2. But let's say you're spending $30 a day for 5 days a week. That's already is $150 for 5 days. Way more than you would spend at the grocery store to buy weekly groceries. And the solution is to cook at home. Go grocery shopping, budget as you purchase it. When you go to a grocery store, do you know you don't have to purchase the most expensive stuff? You can literally purchase a cheaper item of whatever you want. And just because something is cheaper doesn't mean it's bad for you. You don't have to shop everything Whole Foods. Just because something is Whole Foods doesn't mean that it's a drastically better quality than something you get elsewhere. For example, a potato. Potatoes in most places has very, very similar quality, or even an onion. Make sure that you are not getting bamboozled for your money because you want to shop everything organic. There are some things that I do prioritize to buy organic, purchase at a farm's market, which is one of my regular grocery stores. But there's no way I'm going to buy cleaning products for my farm's market. It's way cheaper to get those things in bulk at Costco, Sam's Club. So you don't have to go to one grocery store. Just incorporate different grocery stores and then go to places like Sam's Club or Costco or BJ's for big items that you can buy in bulk, such as paper towel, toilet paper, Clorox wipe, Lysol wipes, the big jug of Lysol. Those are more affordable when you buy them in bulk. And then purchase your vegetables and fruits from a local farmer's market, Whole Food stores that you want to purchase from. Don't think that you have to purchase everything because it's just better quality at an organic food shop. Number 5 of what's keeping people broke is neglecting building an emergency fund. We kind of talked about this a little at the payday lending section, but we're going to talk about it in its own section, because an emergency fund is a safety net. It can literally be the saving grace of your financial future. And if you don't have it, a financial situation can literally break everything you are building up. Having a minimum $1,000, that's what Dave Ramsey used for his baby step 1. Most emergencies that break people are not even $1,000. Not to mention that over 50% of Americans do not have $1,000 saved up. About 25% cannot even cover a $500 emergency without going into some sort of debt, whether it's by borrowing money from friends and family or going to credit card debt or using payday lenders. Having even $1,000 to save up is a huge step for a lot of people. So don't think $1,000 is gonna go by fast. Well, a lot of people wish they had $1,000, but they don't. And then start building it up to 3 to 6 months. The way you build it up is you find out all your necessities. So how much does rent cost, utilities, food, and I'm talking about food that you actually need, like grocery shopping food, car insurance, things that on a monthly basis you cannot do without. And let's say that it comes up to a total of $2,500. That's 1 month. How much now would you need for 3 months? You would need about $7,500. And then for a 6-month emergency fund, you would need $15,000. So that's how you come up with that number. The problem I see some people doing is that they'll just save up like 6 months worth of rent. God forbid you lose your job, you have 6 months of rent. What are you going to be driving in that time? You still need your car insurance money, and luckily if you're not unemployed for 6 months, use that money to cover everything. But don't just do 6 months of rent and call it a 6-month emergency fund. That is not a fully funded 6-month emergency fund. You need all of your necessities in there to make a fully funded 6-month emergency fund. Not to say that if you have 6 months of rent is bad. It is great. It is way ahead of most people, but do not call that a fully funded. The terminology is wrong. You have 6 months of rent, not 6 months of fully funded emergency fund. So that money would last you for 6 months of rent, but you're gonna have to find a different way to cover necessities that you have in your life. The 6th thing that's keeping people broke is paying minimums on credit cards or any type of debt that they have. If you're only paying the minimum, you are inadvertently putting yourself in a situation to pay way more. You're paying way more on interest interest, and it's going to take you way longer to pay whatever debt that you have. I'm talking about student loans, credit cards, personal loans, car loans. When I paid off my car, the minimum payment was about $614 per month, and I did not let that be everything that I was paying, because if I was, I would still be paying it off now. But instead, I paid it off in less than a year by putting extra money, no matter how much it was. It could be extra $100, an extra $300, extra $500. As long as it was money that I earned, I put it towards it every single time. And it wasn't even I paid once in a month. Sometimes I was paying on a weekly basis. Every time I got paid, I would take a chunk of it and throw it at that debt till it was gone. Instead of having my car loan for 3 years, I had it for less than a year. And instead of paying about $1,500 of interest, I paid less than $160. Ended up saving so much money. So the solution is to always pay the full balance of your credit card. Use it as a debit card. Do not spend money that you don't have and just hope to pay it off in the future. Instead, only purchase things that you already plan to purchase and pay it off in full every single month. I just paid off when the balance hits, because I only buy things that I plan to buy and I have the money to actually pay for. And if you have debts such as student loan debt, auto loan debt, and just a whole bunch of debts, try to use the snowball method to pay it off. So snowball method is when you take the lowest balance, irrespective of interest, pay it as fast as you can, and then use that remaining balance to throw it to the next debt while still paying minimums on everything else. You're just focusing your energy on one debt at a time. And while this may seem like, oh, I'm still gonna pay a lot of interest, it's way more successful than the avalanche method, which some people can use the avalanche method. But when it comes to finances, it's not about a math problem, because a lot of people knew the math when they purchased more than they actually had the money to pay for. Instead, it's a behavioral issue. So when you use the snowball method, you're just more likely to succeed versus the avalanche method. The seventh thing that's keeping people broke this year is certainly not investing in their future. Not taking advantage of an HSA, a Roth IRA, 401ks, other brokerage accounts. If you want to learn about different accounts that you need to grow your net worth, watch my video on 6 top accounts to grow your net worth. And you should also watch my latest video about the changes in the HSA, 401k, and Roth IRA for 2025, which has been posted on my channel. So go ahead and watch it and get the information and take advantage of it. Saving for the future is not enough. You have to invest the money you put into your retirement account so that it grows. You might be able to save $7,000 in a Roth IRA per year, but at the end of 10 years, that's $70,000. And at the end of 40 years, that's about $280,000. But if you invest that money in the 40 years, it could be well over $2 million. If you put it into, say, the S&P 500, money's worth would not be the same as it is today. Making sure that you invest it is a way of negating inflation and still having money that is worth a lot more in the future. Now, granted, $240,000 will never be a small amount of money. Why settle for that when you can invest that money, get compound interest, and benefit from that in the future? So the solution, of course, is to open Roth IRAs, 401ks, HSAs if you don't have so already. Open savings accounts for your emergency fund, and take advantage of tax advantaged accounts to make sure that you are saving and investing for yourself in the future, and you will not be broke. The 8th thing that's going to keep people broke is overspending on wants and not focusing enough on your needs. When you are impulse purchasing, it's one thing, but it's another thing to just overspend on your wants. You can put in your budget that I want to have a discretionary spending budget of $500 a month. And instead of that money going towards savings and things that would actually do you well in the future, you're spending it all now for the wants that you have and things that you probably wouldn't even care about in the future. You purchased that $300 bag. Who's gonna care in the future? That money is gone. Well, you could have saved that money and invested it, and it would have been worth way more if you're not neglecting your future needs and priorities for your current wants. And the good way to do that is that in your budget, still be reasonable. You can still have some money for your splurge. Be reasonable in your financial goals and how to quickly meet your financial goals. 10 years from now, when you have great financial stability, we have a fully funded emergency fund, purchase the house that you want. Maybe you still have a mortgage on it, but you have no other debt and you have retirement savings. You can have a lot more money for discretionary spending. And I know it doesn't sound fun because everybody wants everything now, but think long term. I look back at decisions that I made in college, which some of them may not seem so long ago, but it was like 8 years ago. I started college in 2018 and graduated in spring 2022. And I look back and I think of all the decisions I made, great and bad, and think, wow, I'm glad I sacrificed for the future. That time went by so quickly. The future is not guaranteed, but the longer you live, the more likely you are to live even longer. longer. So let's just save for the future and make decisions that would make future us proud. And the ninth thing that is keeping people poor is ignoring financial education and financial literacy. Some people are waiting for the time where somebody will sit them down and be like, hey, this is how you budget. This is how you invest. This is how you spend your money in a great way. I didn't have that. When I was 16 years old, I made my first budget, and it was just based on being a good steward. I learned my financial literacy from the Bible, from YouTube, reading books and journals. That's how a lot of us learn. Most people are not going to get that sit down talk from their parents, from school. And even people who took financial education courses in high school were not even paying attention. They forgot. Teach me how to file taxes while in high school. What? You're not filing taxes yet. You don't even understand it. Not to mention, most of the time, filing taxes is super easy. You just go to H&R Block and they'll file your taxes for you. It's not that complicated. Ensure that you are learning about financial literacy, how to budget, how to invest. All that information is out there, including on my channel. So if this is your first time here, I have an entire playlist called Personal Finance, and you can find so much great information about basically everything: how to budget, saving for an emergency fund, opening a Roth IRA, having a checking account, using a Capital One 360 savings account to make your finances and budgets even better, how to invest, accounts have in your 20s, my best and my worst investments, investing in index funds versus mutual funds. There's so much information out there, and all you have to do is to seek it and listen to financial podcasts, read financial journals. You don't even have to be as involved as a lot of us who just love the topic of finance are. All you have to do is know enough to put yourself on that path towards financial success. And the last thing that is really going to keep people broke in 2025 is keeping up with appearances and keeping up with the Joneses. People are too focused on what they look like, having the latest gadgets, upgrading because they had last season's iPhone and now this new year has a new iPhone. All of that is going to keep people broke, because the more you try to keep up with people, the more money you are spending to make these upgrades that could rather go towards savings, investing. I saw my first iPhone, which was the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I'm using that phone till it works no longer. The moment it can't call 911, that's when I'm changing my phones, or when I have so much money that it would not even make a dent in my financial life. That's when I'll be making that change. But until then, I'm keeping my phone. I have absolutely no will to keep up with people who are making way more money than I am, or people who are overly extending themselves and being in debt to keep up with appearances, because we know the numbers. Less than 20% of individuals in the United States even make over $100,000, and $100,000 is not enough money to be driving a Mercedes Benz and living at $3,000 apartments, all while being financially well off. It's just not a lot of money. So when we look at the numbers and you understand it and the statistics and probability behind it, you will lose the will to keep up with people. I do not purchase the outfits that are in season. Same with my clothes. I'm keeping the clothes that I have because I like the clothes that I have. Like this dress, for example, it was my sister's that gave it to me towards the end of high school, and it still fits. It still looks good. I still take good care of my items so I can wear it. And if I wore this, nobody's gonna be like, oh, this was from 2016. So what? And I think we even got it from the thrift stores. It has even more history, and I don't mind because I like it. I like to wear what I want to wear, and I like to live below my means so that I can reach my financial goals and actually live a life that I can be proud of. Keeping up with appearances, whether with clothes, shoes, makeup, the apartment you live in, the house you're going to buy, the car you're driving, whatever gadgets that you have in your apartment, whatever it is, let it go and build a life that you are proud of. A life that when you go to bed at night, you know that you're doing everything possible to make it the best that you can make it. So you're not sleeping at night in your fancy New York apartment that you're paying $5,000 for, while having a six-figure debt that just does not allow you to even sleep and enjoy your apartment. And with all of that, let's just hit the conclusion, because I think I've given these tips, I've explained it. Build a life that is worth living. In conclusion, breaking free from financial struggle requires consistency, discipline, and willingness to change. Start small by identifying 1 or 2 habits to focus on and gradually implement changes. Track progress, celebrate milestones, and stay motivated by envisioning the financial freedom you can achieve. This new year is an opportunity for you to rewrite your financial story. With intentionality and determination, you can replace your bad habits with good and productive ones, and that will pave a way for a brighter, more successful, stress-free life that you live in financial freedom. And so with that, I'm bringing this video to an end. Thank you all so much for watching. And if this video added value to your life, be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Let me know in the comments section, do you identify with any of these 10 things that I listed? And how are you breaking free from brokenness in 2025? If you have any questions or anything that you want me to help you with, please let me know in the comments section. Let's start that conversation. Also, be sure to watch my playlist on personal finance if you are trying to improve financial literacy this year. And ring the notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you all again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.